Hello guys, welcome to 5Gaming Gens today with me, Will, and today I'll be going through my thoughts on Fallout 4. Fallout 4, like many a Bethesda game, is an enigma to me. How can a world seem so expansive and vast, yet at the same time be so sparse and, to be quite frank, empty? In this regard, Fallout 4 carries on quite well from Bethesda's wildly successful The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, which had many a gamer wetting their lips and frothing at their mouth, an exceedingly boundless bosom of enjoyment. All, it seems, except me. That's not to say I didn't enjoy Skyrim, on the contrary, I found it quite the adequate RPG, with a lot of interesting features. I just didn't see the 10 out of 10 masterpiece which nearly everyone else saw. It gets to a point where continually trekking through this more or less the same cave or dungeon, fighting more or less the same bunch of knobs to get more or less the same underwhelming award gets a bit repetitive. Fallout 4 suffers from the same drawback. This was expansive and I have to say more inherently interesting than Skyrim's drab snow globe, but my word is it repetitive. Every Minuteman quest, bar about 3, involves you going to a location, clearing out either a bunch of raiders or ghouls or super mutants or flying insect things or crawling insect things, and then return to the same smug bloke to get your reward. What's more, the other factions quests follow a similar pattern, just do what you did before but in a slightly different location. After all, it gets to a point where I just didn't care if Jeremy down the road needed the cockroaches cleared out of his pantry, or whether Mrs. Miggins had her apricot stolen by some scallywags, because I already just helped Gerald with his stick insect problem, and Mrs. Wiggins with her plum theft. Despite the repetitiveness of the faction quest, there were some side quests which were rather quite amusing, though these were few and far between. The story itself, when one looks at it, is remarkably short, though that's not to say I didn't enjoy it. The opening of the game gives us a brief look of pre-war America, and I would have to say I would have liked to spend a little more time in this section. You play as the sole survivor of Vault 111 on the halt for some guys who've nicked your son while you were cryogenically frozen. Shock and horror. Along the way, your actions will determine the fate of the Commonwealth, and blah-de-blah, you know how RPGs are supposed to work. The story itself wasn't too bad, but the ending was an absolute travesty. The final mission was good, and seemed to be working towards a point where the Commonwealth would be inherently different depending on your final choice, but this wasn't the case. The final cutscene is frankly awful when compared to previous Fallout games, with only one part that sees any variation, and the open world after the ending seems to be exactly the same as it is before the ending. There were parts of the game which I enjoyed, however. Weapon and arm modding has been fleshed out, and each mod physically changes your item to make it completely custom to you in a way. Combat has been greatly improved with more fluid gameplay. I didn't have to use VATS as often, unless there was an absolutely retarded ghoul that, for some reason now, flings themselves at you from 100 meters away. It's completely impossible to target without VATS otherwise. Crafting was overall very well done, with all junk in the world being useful for something. And although I wasn't the best at the settlement system, I could see the potential for it being well done for someone more abler than I. And indeed, I've seen some examples of exemplary work. Fallout's modding community is again fantastic. Some mods, like the extended dialogue interface, which replaces the absolutely awful Mass Effect dialogue wheel, are absolutely required. And with the creation kit coming out soon, we'll be seeing some fantastic mods, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the community does with that. And to be honest, I wasn't really bothered by the new perk system either. I mean, it's streamlined, and to be honest, it works perfectly fine for what it's worth, though I do admit I did prefer the old perk system, which did allow for more customization in your character. But that's not to say that the new system is terrible. But overall, Fallout 4 isn't a remarkable game, I'm sorry to say. I mean, it was fun for its runtime, which was, for me, a healthy 90 hours of game. But I don't think I'll be returning to the Commonwealth in the foreseeable future. I don't think it really has the same replay value as previous games, because the ending, to be quite honest, ruined the entire experience for me. But it's well worth checking out. It's not a bad game. I still recommend getting it if you're interested. It's not I can't say it is bad having played it for 90 hours. But to be honest, if you want the true Fallout experience and you really want to know why there's such a massive fandom around this title, around this series, then get New Vegas instead. It's by far a better game. Fallout 4, I don't know, there's something about Bethesda RPGs, I just don't find their worlds overly interesting, investive. I don't really find the story that well rounded in a way, but as I said, it's still worth getting. I mean, the combat is fun. Some of the missions, a lot of the side missions they're perfectly fine. Just the main story, the ending, and that kind of let the whole thing fall for me. But yeah, not a remarkable game. But if you're interested and it's on sale, just pick it up. But New Vegas, definitely a game you should be playing. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Share what you thought about Fallout 4 in the comments. This is just my thoughts, having just finished the game. But yeah, thanks. Like it, subscribe to 5GG. There'll be more videos coming out in the future. See ya.